President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned.
Fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today is that day some of you have been waiting for. I would say the entire nation of Ambazonia has been waiting for this day. We understand there is the US-Africa summit called by the Trump administration, and public reaction most probably has provoked a lot of concerns from the interim government. The Secretary of State for Communication sent out a message on the 9th admonishing Ambazonians on the right food strategy. President Sako, during last week's draft on Saturday, took the time to explain to Ambazonians the importance of the stance that the interim government is taking. We've had a series of discussions on the platform in this regard. Today, the president is not coming to answer our debates or our arguments or our worries. The president will be live today to address the stakeholders that are in Washington and even the Trump administration on the stand of Ambazonia. You saw the advert on his page yesterday. It was thrilling. We're going to go through it. With me tonight is the press secretary of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Lady Casey. You miss her, I know. I miss her too. We've not seen her for quite a long time. And I'm delighted to say that I have press secretary Lady Casey with me. Good evening and welcome, Lady Casey.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
You're just coming back from work, and I don't even see you tired. I called and I had to pressurize the need for us to have this discussion before the president comes up. It's instrumental that during such a time we would have to remind our people the importance of an address when the president is talking to the people, when he's talking to the international community, when he's talking to partners. It's important. We have seen concerns of other Ambazonians that are proposing street protest. You've been in this struggle. You and I have been friends for close to 10 years, before, during, and most probably we shall be friends after the struggle. Now, and we saw the struggle from the start of it, from 2016. We saw what we were able to achieve through street protests and where we are today. It would appear not everybody has moved with the spirit of the liberation movement to where we are. Why President Sako believes that we are already in the corridors talking with stakeholders, and that a street protest might not provide much for us. There are others who will think that we may not just discard the idea. As press secretary, you should be in the heart of some of this discussion. I guess you have something to tell us. Good evening and welcome. And before that, let me tell Amazonians who are watching us on Facebook, we're streaming this program live on the president's official page on ABC YouTube, on our website, and at the home front, we're live now. This is 10 minutes after 9 p.m. And I believe very soon the president will be live. So you can share, invite somebody, tell somebody to tell somebody that we are live. Go ahead, President.
Yeah, thank you, Paddy. Greetings, fellow Amazonians and our supporters and sympathizers and all our allies and stakeholders of our freedom quest. The recent events and what is going on in the US and all those calling for protest, demonstration, whichever words they choose to use to describe this, to describe any action that Amazonia will take. Like you mentioned, yes, the president did say, understand that we are at a different level in this struggle. When we were doing protests across the world, that was to create awareness, call attention on our plight because we were being killed, molested, murdered, villages being burned down, and the world was going about as if nothing was happening. Now, the demonstrations and protests were effective at that time and necessary then because we were still making ourselves known as Amazonians. But we have seen across the world until now the the fact that there has been a mediation supported by EU, America, sponsored by Canada, the Swiss mediation that La Republique withdrew for is to tell you that the awareness that we created sank into the powers that be. Now, at this stage of the struggle, um, demonstration at this time, the highest it can achieve is a moral boost on for those on the ground. That's my opinion. It's not going to directly impact our freedom quest. It's not going to directly have that effect on moving the struggle forward. It's just going to look like a moral boost to those on ground that those in the diaspora are doing something. But say you have a significant um, impact contributing towards the struggle, moving the struggle forward, is it wouldn't have that. I'm not necessarily also saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying that if we want to weigh our resources and our efforts and what is necessary to push the struggle forward, we have moved past demonstrations and protests. Also, especially of this state of events, that's also what I believe. And now, what we need to do as a people, we have to understand that at this stage of our struggle, there is no nation of power on the earth today that does not know the Amazonian problem or the Amazonian freedom course. We should not, we are not trying to tell anybody about our struggle. They already know. Now, whether they choose to support, participate, or what is now based on interest. So there's no amount of protest we can do at this point that would bring anybody to take action for Amazonia that will favor Amazonia, or any action that will be in the best interest of Amazonia. There is none. Like Paddy mentioned, the president has been having, calls from several um, head of governments, several different individuals showing, trying to understand the state of the struggle, expressing their interest, and people trying to see how they can come in terms of, create another forum for mediation. But say going out for a protest now is almost like I said, is basically all you achieve is a moral boost for people at home front. It's not going to do anything else beyond that. Thank you.
Yeah, Lady Casey, I think you're very right on that. You're so right on it. I can't pick this call now. You're right on that. But there's this interest point, something which I think we need to talk about. It has to do with abuse of those we've seen. I saw a video um, yesterday which we had when Dr. Mungo was live. And the interest of some of these things is because of the indictment that we have now, and La République du Cameroon struggling to play the victim position. It's quite concerning. We are expecting that tonight, as the president is not just addressing the nation of Ambazonia, we're expecting that he will also be highlighting some of these things that are happening. We know of a baby that was fried, and the media, they really didn't take this seriously. Nobody filed in a lawsuit. We have seen Gabo, all the massacres, massacres. Think about it. And
Yeah,
today,
Paddy,
the indictment, if
let
you
me
read
just
it, La Republic is trying to play victim. Go ahead, please.
yeah, let me interrupt you there. See, La Republic Games and victimhood, playing of victim, try to portray Amazonians as then and trying to make us look like rebels, terrorists. I mean, there's no name they have not called Amazonian freedom fighters. There's no there's no terrible name they have not called. They have even threatened other international government to repatriate or punish Amazonian leaders and all our patriots across the world. There is no name. La Republic is, as for their own interest, they're going to do that. So now this is us Amazonian. What we need to focus our interest on is to understand the strategy of the enemy so that we do everything we need to do. There was, before I came out here, there was a video playing where the president was explaining to the restoration fighters what their protection is, that the reason they have not been able to call them terrorists and eliminate them recklessly is because there is an institution of government that is protecting them. And when there's a government, and he was explaining the different rebels and um, forces of a nation, security forces or army. He was explaining that in a very cool and very well articulated way. I don't cannot go about it. And why is this necessary? That is what one of the things as um, fighters, as Amazonian patriots, as all the revolutionaries, Amazonian revolutionary across the world, we need to know that we need to understand our plight. La Republic would not stop at anything to crush us. They have made that blatantly clear that they care less about any moral high ground. They care less about any they have zero consciences. They don't care about Amazonians life. They have made it outrightly and bluntly and very loudly that there is no they have no interest in resolving this war. So when we come and see them acting in this barbaric manner, that is how we should meet them at. That's exactly how we should respond to them, equally as they have come at us. So if we continue thinking that there is some moral judge in the world that is going to hold a republic accountable, that they don't that have not done so before now, then we are fooling ourselves. It's like we are just doing what we are doing, waiting for some savior to save us. It's not gonna happen, not in this world of politics. We should need to understand the area in which we are playing. It is a very it's a very, I don't say sensitive, but it's a very delicate um aspect of politics we are doing in terms of the revolution or the free fighting for freedom for Amazonia. Everybody, or all the powers that all the world powers that have the ability to hold a republic accountable are also calculating their interest. They are also checking for themselves. If I intervene, if I sponsor mediation, if I do this or if I do that, how does it serve my interest? They are not coming to solve the conflicts in Ambazonia because they love Ambazonia too much or because they love La Republique. Whatever they are doing, and that's why if you've noticed, if you follow up at it, like you said, we've been in this fight from day one. If you follow the diplomatic conversations or the diplomatic commentaries around our struggle, you will realize that when the fighters on ground are dealing with La Republique, they'll be blaming incidents on both sides. But when La Republique is killing our people, they are quiet. When our fighters are dealing with La Republic military accordingly, then they will start say, oh, they call for ceasefire, they call for this and that on both sides, they're violent on both sides. But when La Republic is frying babies, the La Republic is causing massacre in our villages, burning down hundreds of villages, they are quiet. They say nothing. We should understand the area that is are. Now, as much as America has made it very clear that they have made it very clear that they're a country of law. They respect law. It doesn't mean that we should just be doing everything that we do, hoping, relaxing, wishing. It's not gonna happen. We need to finance the war. We need to pick arms. By now, every family of Ambazonians should be aiming to own. Self-defense should be, in fact, we should go on a self-defense consciousness building in Ambazonian communities and society globally, from home front to the rest of the world. We have to be in that state of mind of self-defense, because if not, we will see how they are dealing with our people. Especially these are people who are going about their lives as if nothing is happening, as if La Republic give a toss about them. They don't care. I always tell our people that if you don't live with the consciousness in Amazonian territory that there is war, you will be caught up in areas and in things that if you don't have that consciousness. So every Ambazonian or every Southern Cameroonian, anybody of Southern Cameroon descent, as some of you choose to call yourself Anglophones, which are you are behaving like Anglophones. If you don't live in that consciousness, you will one day fall in that trap. Untimely death is already your name, because you refuse to understand the reality of your survival on this current state of affairs. Thank you.
Yeah, you're talking about the mainstream conspiracy and hypocrisy towards oppressed peoples. And we have that all the time, you know. Those who really do not understand the politicization of the media may not really understand the magnanimity of what you are saying. I'll give an example. Just 2 or 3 days ago, our pages were blocked simply for mentioning the word beer. Why? Why is that conspiracy? Because Yaoundé understands the power of the media, and what they want to do is to shut us off. You saw the video yesterday of the beautiful young Amazonian lady that a Bulu gendarme will arrest, rape, beat, and then mimic an Amazonian fighter, first of all to embarrass the lady and to implicate us, and then to send the video on the media. Media has a two-way traffic impact. First of all, on the people who are watching the media. That's why it's important for stakeholders to understand the importance of ABC Amba TV during this war. We cannot overemphasize the importance of ABC Amba TV, because whatever we do on this TV helps to boost the mind and the moral of our people that there is hope. Without ABC Amba TV, I'm sure the struggle would have ended. Now, so La Republique sends out messages. You have the Prime Minister comes on TV and says, hey, listen, there's no mercy. We're now winning. Everything is fine. And then the next day, the soldiers he is sending allies in his homeland to Bayelsa to pay armed men that will come and fight his own brothers that are defending for their rights. And then the people are intimidated. The international community is manipulated. I wouldn't even say the international community or the mainstream media is manipulated. Mainstream media is conspiring to make sure that this goes through. And that's unfortunate. That's how unfortunate. I want us to have, unfortunately, we have War Child that is joining us all the way from the UK. Today, I'm just so blessed with the platform, getting every beautiful person from the UK. I'd like him to talk to us very briefly. And I have a video to play. When we watch that video, it's important we talk about this, and then we will have the president address the nation. Watchai, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Paddy King and my sister Kay. Thank you guys. It's a privilege, and it has always been one to talk to Ambazonians, and it's a good day. And at this moment, Ambazonia needs us, and we are always there to stand by their side. And this is the right moment to stand by the side of your brother. And we want the people to understand that what that comes out from ABC is the truth. We bring the people, the quality we bring from the people, and what they air out in this ABC channel is the truth. And we're here for the people. I want the people to understand that Buea is our home, and nothing can change our destiny and our mind. And our ancestors, they know that we will come there. Their bones might have been in that soil for hundreds of years, but we will say that bones will never get bad. It will be there for the next 1,000 years, and we will come there to usher, to lead our people, to make that sacrifice. Buea is the key town. Fighters that have fallen, children that have been roasted, put in basin. I want to remind my mothers, I want to remind my fathers that the battle, we are in the battle. You can summons me and take me to court. You can put me anywhere, but you will never change the truth. For truth is powerful than darkness. And I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as I'm talking. Ambazonians, we are free. And I tell you, there is a fire burning in the enemy's camp. And they know it. And they know we are gone. No matter the black legs, no matter the sell out, for me, it's just part of this puzzle that we are about.
Yes, brother, I want to use this opportunity to extend my condolence for the loss of your brother, who courageously picked up to defend our homeland. You know, some Ambazonians are watching. You mentioned that on Saturday during the federal draft, and that is a price that some would have to pay. I have also lost 3 brothers in this war. One was just a victim of circumstance. He was never, ever involved. The others got radicalized, got involved, and they have sacrificed their blood just for our freedom. So I understand what you're going through right now. On behalf of Ambazonians that are watching you, I want to say that our hearts are with you. And as a people, we will continue to fight and fight to ensure that our homeland is free. Now, I want us to watch a video, a very brief video. It's an old video, but it's important that we resurrect this video. This is a video that serves as evidence against a Cameroon that is trying to be the victim. Stay tuned.
Or you never come see police or gendarme say.
Laissez-le, pas le tuer, oui, non, tu tapes de quoi? Voilà aussi. Quoi, tu vas sur là-bas, ça c'est en bas. Je peux la tuer.
Ça c'est l'eau, il fait froid ici en doux. Il y a quoi avec toi, c'est la magie.
On va le traiter, elle langage me bille, elle est jeu.
Since how many times? Since how many times you know say your brother be Amba? Stand. Oh, ne fais pas ça, hein. Ne fais pas ça. Yes, talk. Since how many times today you know say your brother be Amba?
Ouais. Veste.
Ça c'est le travail de la manœuvre tout à l'heure. Tu vas parler.
Tu es là, vous tuez ma tenue.
Retire ton pantalon. Il retire le pantalon. Vous faites la close.
Donc, attends, il y a assis.
Partout. Sur les pieds. Tu peux montrer les étudiants.
Ah, Moula, ce sont les pieds. Tape sur les pieds, il va confirmer.
Et tiens,
Non, est-ce que les pieds ne vont pas finir? Il y a un peu d'adé au sac. Hein?
bouge.
I don't know me.
You know.
You know.
Il est callé là.
For fear God.
Say what you.
If they push, but me I don't know. If they push, me I know say my brother. If be Amber, like me, I don't know side where they become
Il
me.
est stay for outside. Tiens, il y avait
Il dit qu'il y a ses frères en bas.
I know. Say
Ça embauche.
like me, I don't know me side where they become.
Il fallait l'enregistrement.
Me. I ask say,
Je prends non.
one kill me. Now my junior man no be my elder.
Il dit stay for outside.
Me I don't know.
Ok. Go un peu. Il dit stay for outside.
Me I don't know.
Voilà un peu.
Encore.
Ajoute.
Ajoute.
Mais, applique.
Applique, ne laisse pas la douleur descendre. Il dit stay for outside. Il dit stay for outside.
Oh.
Jesus.
Donne un peu la main.
Jesus.
Donne un peu. Un peu seulement.
Il dit stay for outside. Il dit stay for outside. Donc. Il dit stay for outside.
Me I
Inside your
don't know.
brother dey.
I dey talk my truth for fear God.
Sleep so. Oh, the man sleep. Sleep. Oh, you will talk now. Oh.
So if I know I will tell you.
Sleep so. I want say you sleep so.
So
Il dit stay for outside.
Sleep now. You give me
me
your
I sleep,
belly.
so
Il dit stay for outside.
Yes, sleep.
Yes.
Sleep so.
Sleep.
For here. Good job.
Il dit stay for outside.
Yes.
Aïe.
On your belly. Who's your brother dey?
Bon, la for outside.
For the first time your brother dey.
I don't know.
Il dit for outside. Il dit for outside.
brother dey?
So I don't know.
Ouais,
I
sleep
know
so.
say
Oh.
they push. If they push.
Il dit bouge for which place?
Put your friend so.
On devait même couper sa tête.
Move your hand.
Il dit bouge for outside.
Donc, elle vous a vu, il a fui.
Il a fini non. C'est moi qui chambre non avant que.
My God.
C'est chaud.
Aïe. Aïe. Aïe.
Assis sur les sacrifiés, mon type.
Asel.
Il dit stay for outside.
Oh,
Me I don't know.
when you have seen the police, n'est-ce pas? Yes. Why you dey run so?
Il dit stay for outside.
Move your hand.
Me I don't
Move your
know.
hand. I go cut am.
Aïe.
Talk your truth.
On va sur sa hanche. C'est ce qu'on appelle la douleur. Peine. Ça fait.
I don't think I can take the pain and watch it any longer. But it's important that the international community is watching us now. And the president, in just a few minutes, will be talking to stakeholders. We want people to see what the gendarmes of Bia are doing to our people with impunity. Lady Casey, please. Yeah, I'd like the president to check his device so that I can do some.
That
Lady Casey, yeah, go
that
ahead.
is, I can't speak. That is very difficult to watch.
Lady Casey, I understand your pain. I understand your pain, my sister.
Yes, watch I
understand your
take
pain.
the floor, please.
Let me take it. I understand your pain. Every mother that you give birth to a child, every mother, every father in Ambazonia feel the pains. For 60 years, we've been going on over this torture. For 60 years. People are traumatized. Mentally, we are tortured. Physically, we are tortured. Babies in their stomach, they are tortured. In their mother's womb, they are tortured. Everyone is tortured. In whatever means, they are being tortured. Daily, they are tortured. The ones in prison are tortured. The one we don't know. This is just a grain in a bag of grains or corn or maize, as you can put it. This is just one grain, where you say the tip of an iceberg.
Yeah,
This one is
Mr.
the one we
President,
know.
just a moment, watch I'm trying to communicate to the State House. Mr. President, kindly check your device. Okay, watch go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This is what we know. And is the Bulu, Singang, Beti? These are the tribes. You can even hear them saying, some say, let's cut off the head. You see, they come to a family, and this is what Cardinal Tubi said the other day, that the Cameroon army, La Republique terrorists, are responsible for the killings, not Amba boys. If they use the word Amba, all Amba is a short form of Ambazonian. 8 million to 10 million Ambazonians. So what do they want to do? Kill these 8 to 10 million, their own idea? Kill freedom? You can't kill freedom. You can't kill the people. You can't kill their destiny. So if you want to cut the guy's head, cut the head, but you will never cut or kill freedom. So what they want, the boy say, I doesn't know, but you want to kill the boy. This is what we've been passing through. That's not the case. A girl child or a boy child in Ambazonia passed through this situation. They have passed through these circumstances, and they are passing through these circumstances. But they will never succeed, because we've already succeeded in putting what we wanted. The international community knows what we are going through. My own point is that we have the insider, the black legs among us that have turned their own eyes to sell their own people. 50,000 Ambazonians dead, 50,000 in counting, display, torture, everything. So I'm counting. We've counted this figure until we've lost count in some villages. We don't even know what is happening again. We don't even know the deaths. We don't even know what is going on somewhere. And the village that know their villages abandoned, more than 500 villages abandoned, as we can even keep on singing the same story, But it doesn't end there, as I can say. I know the torture, I know the pains mothers are facing. I know why Lady Katie cannot talk, because the situation is more than us. That's not the first case. We've been going through the case for more than 6 years. And it has been like this for the past 60 years. But there was not a social media to bring it forward, or cameras to bring it forward. But today, thank God that everything has come forward for the international community, for people, the blind ones, now to understand what Ambazonians have been going through. Yeah, Paddy. As I will keep on talking before Paddy will come up back again. So we are in a messy situation in Ambazonia where I think only freedom, I think the right for the people, for international community to maintain our choice as the people who want their own freedom, as people who stands for their own nation, as people who believe that freedom is the only solution. Because we can't lose 50,000 people, and there are some people negotiating for one Cameroon, some people negotiating for decentralization, some people talking their own thing and going the left way. The only thing that can console us now is for the international community to respect us, or the whole world to understand our play and stand with us as a nation, not as a nation.
Yes, Lady Katie, are you ready to talk now?
Yes, I am. I'm ready to talk now. You know, what is baffling me is that even people on home front, people in the diaspora that have watched these videos, like what Child said, this is just one of 50,000 circumstances that have happened over the 60 years, coexistence with La Republique. And they still feel or still think there is any chance that living together with La Republique is possible or is of any interest or good to Ambazonians. It's what baffles me. And like he said, they cannot kill 10 million Ambazonians. They cannot torture and demoralize the spirit of 10 million Ambazonians. Anybody of Southern Cameroon descent living within La Republique administrative structure knows the reality that you don't matter. And the reason why they choose to conform with that is because of this type of torture, because they've put them in so much fear that they cannot stand up for themselves. They cannot stand up, because if you speak up or you stand up or you request anything to be treated with some dignity and respect, you get killed as a Southern Cameroonian. So this is why we need to intensify our fight for this liberation of Ambazonia. We need to intensify it from all fronts. And The interim government have been doing an extraordinary job, and the people within the interim government, just like War Child is out here today, who just lost a brother at the battlefront, and is out here today still encouraging, inspiring, motivating Ambazonia. That is the spirit of a true freedom fighter. He would have been discouraged, would have like, oh, I'm mourning my brother. Oh, that thing that my brother died. I mean, we're not seeking no pity. Standing here and still giving you hope and say that Ambazonia is free. That the freedom in us can never be killed with whatever weapon of mass destruction. And that is the belief every Ambazonian should have. And I want to take this opportunity to talk to those Ambazonians who have been committed to the freedom cause, but feel discouraged or feel tired because something is happening that they don't understand. We are fighting a war at the digital age, which has actually worked so much for our good. It has saved us so many years of battles. But there's some degree of discipline we need in using these tools that have served us till this day. And like I was saying, that we need to consciously go on the consciousness of living in war, a state of war, so that you will be able to take the necessary precautionary measures to at least prevent careless death and careless loss of any lives of an Ambazonian. And we will be more efficient in hitting our targets, both at home front and otherwise.
Like I say all the time, we're fighting a battle in different fronts, and we are fighting with the media. I said something earlier on for those who perhaps were not available to listen to what I said. I said this is a media war. We understand the conspiracy of mainstream. Just a few days ago, we made a post with the name BIA, and our pages were blocked. And they always have the way they interpret their laws. What does this tell you? BIA is spending a lot of money with his PR to lobby the corrupt segment, because the way Facebook functions, it functions based on regions. And why are they trying to restrict us? Because they understand the power of the media. I'm saying this for those who are watching us right now. If you have not shared, if you're watching us right now on Facebook and you have not shared into at least 50 groups in your catchment, groups on Facebook, invited people, and you're not commenting, you're doing a disservice. Because what else would you have to do to fight this battle? One of the things you have to do is to tell somebody that we're making this statement. A statement we make audaciously, and the numbers really do count sometimes, because you're telling your community anytime you like and you comment on Facebook, you're telling them that what you're watching is important. And that is a statement which we need at this time. The president of Ambazonia, the number one, we call him number one, will be addressing us in a few minutes. Take out that due diligence and share very widely. Watch out. I hope I can have Nelson Ochiba and Lady Casey and myself will come back after this address to make some commentaries, and we will definitely rebroadcast it again for you to watch. All of today and tomorrow we're going to have a rebroadcast of this president address. Right now I've received indication that the president is ready in the State House. So I'm calling on you to stay tuned and stand by, and we'll be having him in any moment from now. So right after this, we'll be back. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.
The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned. The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, addresses the nation in a moment. Stay tuned.
Mr. President of the United States of America, my president, the organizers of the US-Africa Summit 2022, fellow African heads of state here present, dear international observers, I want to thank the United States of America for organizing the second US-Africa Summit. This is a laudable action to revitalize partnership and alliances with African countries. I understand this summit will continue efforts to strengthen ties with African nations that are under severe pressure by their local populations to review the significance or not of traditional alliances that stem from our colonial heritage. We, the people of the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia, regret our absence from the ongoing US-Africa Summit. This would have been a golden opportunity for the United States of America to affirm her historical yes vote at the United Nations in favor of the independence resolution on the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia on April 21st, 1961. I've been obliged by the people of the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia to bypass this error of omission by addressing the US-Africa Summit as the uninvited 55th nation of Africa, albeit from an observer's perspective. It is our hope that the summit will be a moment of sincere introspection around the true causes of anti-Western sentiments sweeping across the African continent today. Summits like this should not be mere banquets away from home. They should not be cocktails of political pleasantries, and not certainly a collection of image-building souvenirs and empty smiles. It is another opportunity for participating African leaders to tell the truth to each other. It should be, and it should also be, a moment to review our partnerships and alliances with a superpower like America. During such reviews, both sides should x-ray with candor the causes of mutual failures as well as the areas where measurable progress has been achieved by either side. The post-colonial philosophy that made most alliances with Africa and the West look like a beautiful young girl toasted around by suitors or bidders, and whose will does not count, led to the establishment of transactional alliances and not genuine partnership alliances. That kind of posture reminds the African psyche of the infamous era of slavery. The Africa of today is in need of direct, mutual, beneficial, politico-economic partnership alliances with America on grounds of equality and respect for each other. Africa does not need babysitting today. Africa does not need people to decide for her. Africa doesn't need systems and alliances that work more for the good of others than our own people, and leaders who appear to serve foreign interests more than national interests. This schoolmaster approach by the West may have worked for a while, but right now it is not working for Africa. The youth, and that means 60 to 75% of the 1.2 billion people in Africa, are asking why the richest continent remains the most backward, instead of frowning at voices like mine on the continent. Instead of giving band-aid solutions, why don't we try out a cheaper option, which is one of a direct strategic partnership with the people of the continent? A Marshall Plan, for example. I said the people of the continent, not the leaders. There is a remarkable difference between the people of Africa and the political leadership in Africa today. I have the impression that based on the former alliances and operational philosophies the West is losing the people in preference for their leaders, many of whom have long lost the legitimacy to speak for their people because they have been rejected by their own people, even though they keep stealing elections. Africa is not poor. We are the richest continent in the world. Our problem is not poverty. Our problem is not hunger and diseases. Our problem can be summarized in 3 words: corruption, exploitation, and bad leaders in power. We need to forge alliances that will help the people of Africa to address these key problems. True friends will help you fight your true enemies, not imaginary ones. America is a friend to Africa because America has what it takes to efface these 3 monster problems. But America will be Africa's friend indeed when they stop leading from behind on key issues affecting the continent of Africa. Remember, a friend in need is a friend indeed. The post-colonial politics of condoning corruption, exploitation, and bad leaders in power, while pretentiously prescribing wrong medicines such as aid for development, as the Chinese and the French are doing on the continent, is a time bomb. The origin of this approach dates back to the 60s, when the colonial powers of Europe decided to exert economic and political